We've got a big show for you today. A lot of things to talk about, including breaking sprint car news, more series full-timers, racetrack news, and more. Let's go. It's Thursday, December 19th. I'm Justin Fiedler. This is DIRTRACKR Daily presented by Kubota Genuine Parts. Today's show is being supported by SprintCarUnlimited.com. You guys hear me talk about Jeremy and his work pretty regularly, and I've been a paid subscriber to his site since 2021. And that's because there's just nobody out there doing the type of work you can find at SprintCarUnlimited.com. In just the last few weeks, he's broken a bunch of news, including Chase Dietz to Stamen, Freddie Raymer out with Eichelberger and Brock Zierfoss in, plus the Kyle Reinhardt and Preston Latimus stuff with Capital Renegade, and the news just this week with Gerard McIntyre and Scott Cowman. So with a subscription, you get breaking news, regular commentary, and his weekly podcast. And right now, through January 3rd, you can get all of this for just $28 a year when you use code HOLIDAY2024 at checkout. That's code HOLIDAY2024 at checkout at SprintCarUnlimited.com. $28 a year is less than $2.50 a month. And if you want even more, check out the Sprint Car Unlimited YouTube channel where Jeremy does his daily 90 at 9 videos plus regular interviews on the deep dive. Thanks to SprintCarUnlimited.com for the support of DIRTRACKR. Speaking of breaking sprint car news, we had some here just a little bit ago. Garet Williamson and Fisher Motorsports committing full-time to the 2025 World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series schedule. I know you've been listening to me hint at a possible addition to the Outlaws for weeks, and we've been hearing all the way back to World Finals week that this announcement was coming literally any day. Williamson becomes the third rookie to join the 2025 class, and this will be a big step up for him and that team. They did spend 2024, though, getting themselves ready for a national tour run that included racing 72 times, 41 appearances with the Outlaws, 11 with High Limit. Their best finish came at Huset's in August, where they were fourth. And then away from the national tours, Williamson won 3 times this past season, twice at Huset's, once in weekly action at Knoxville. He also had top fives against POWRi's 410 division, and he finished strong at World Finals. Williamson admitted to Jeremy Elliott that they didn't get all of the funding they were hoping for, but that the Fisher team is going to make it work anyway. Towards the second half of 2024, there were a number of teams we knew who were considering a jump like this for 2025, but so far, Fisher the only one of those to actually make this move. I like this for Williamson and Fisher. I think he's talented. I think they've got nice stuff. They're going to struggle along the way for sure. Everybody does against the Outlaws, but I think you'll also see a lot of growth. The addition of Williamson takes the Outlaws to 9 confirmed, joining Bill Balog, David Gravel, Carson Macedo, Donnie Schatz, Logan Schuchart, Sheldon Haudenschild, Cole Macedo, and Chris Windom. Williamson is going to battle for that rookie title against Cole Macedo and Windom. And Fisher and 2C with Macedo, they're the only net gains for the national tours this offseason. Still, also assuming Buddy Kofoid will be back here, and Gio Scelzi hinted this week on his podcast about being back, so that would push the Outlaws up to 11. Still waiting on plans for the Rose 6 and Premier 70. 12 right now for the Outlaws. That remains my bet. As we were talking yesterday on the show about Cody Overton returning to the World of Outlaws late model series, they were also announcing the return of Dennis Erb Jr. The 2022 series champion will be back for year 7 with the Outlaws, looking to reclaim some of that speed he had during the title-winning season. Since scoring that crown 2 years ago, Erb has points finishes of 8th and 9th and just a single Outlaw win. Of his 6 seasons on tour, 2024 definitely the toughest, and it even included a brief chassis swap from Rocket to Barry Wright before eventually switching back. He did find victory lane, though, elsewhere, winning 4 times across dirt car competition, Mars, and the Northern All-Stars. Erb becomes the 11th commitment for the Outlaws. He joins Cody Overton, Ethan Dotson, Bobby Pierce, Nick Hoffman, Brian Shirley, Daniel Adam, Ryan Gustin, Cade Dillard, Brent Larson, and Dustin Sorensen for 2025. That still leaves Kyle Bronson, Tyler Bruning, Tristan Chamberlain, Dustin Walker, all of those guys as unknown, plus any other new additions. We're just about 5 weeks away from the start of the World of Outlaws late model season at Volusia for the Sunshine Nationals. The USAC sprint car field grew by 1 yesterday as the announcement that CJ Leary, he's going to be back full-time in 2025. He's switching, though, from BGE Doherty over to Team AZ for the championship run. Team AZ losing Days and Pursley to winged competition, and this move shouldn't surprise those of you who are kind of locked into the non-wing side of things. Back in October, Leary was announced for the Silver Crown Series next year in a Team AZ-backed car, so this move also to the sprint car just made a lot of sense. With BGE Doherty in 2024, Leary ended up 5th in the national sprint car standings, had just a single win early in the year at Ocala. I believe this takes us to 4 public commitments for USAC Sprint Car Series, with Leary joining Briggs Danner, Logan Seavey, and Jake Swanson. I think the last major schedule release we don't have yet from World Racing Group is for the ASCS 360 National Tour. In the meantime, though, while we wait for that schedule, the series did announce some rule changes for 2025 that included that sprint car frames must now conform to World of Outlaws chassis specifications. Also, dished wings no longer allowed with the series, and instead flat top 25 square wings with 2-inch wicker bills are now the standard. Cars must weigh a minimum of 1,500 pounds, that is up from 1,475, and any aluminum block is allowed but must run ASCS approved weight in front of the motor plate. I'm going to leave the debate over whether these rule changes are good or bad to others, but I will say it's rare to see rule changes met with any sort of praise from the competitors. I know not long ago, Sam Haverteep, Dominic Scelzi, they had kind of a mini debate over the aluminum block stuff on the Drivers Project podcast, which I believe came after changes were announced at Knoxville. And the ASCS was one of the last places in the U.S. where dish wings were still allowed. Now I believe Australia kind of just about all that's left in major sprint car racing. Doubling back to some racetrack news, first updating the situation at Portsmouth Raceway Park in Ohio. Not long after the announcement came that Portsmouth would not be opening for the 2025 season, their Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series date was shifted over to Atomic Speedway. So Atomic will now host Lucas on both March 21st and July 4th in 2025. Everyone involved moving very quickly there to make this change. The other big date that Portsmouth had was the Dean Niddle Memorial, a big paying sprint car event. It had previously been the cap on Ohio Sprint Speed Week with the All-Stars before then moving to the high limit schedule for 2024. The Niddle, though, was left off the high limit slate for 2025, and promoter Jeff Niddle has been trying to find a place for it ever since. Just yesterday, though, it was announced that the Niddle, which pays a little bit more than $26,000 to win, will again cap Ohio Sprint Speed Week, but at Atomic. The original plan was for that finale at Atomic to pay $10,000 win, but this obviously changes that up significantly. Now action $26,554 to win and $1,554 to start. There's also other bonus money available throughout the field. That's a big pickup for both Atomic and the new All-Star Circuit of Champions. 2 quick All-Star notes before we move on as well. They have their first 2 declared full-timers in Darren Nida and Cody Bova. Moving on, things at Cherokee Speedway, South Carolina, suddenly in flux. Back in November, a deal was announced for Hunt the Front to co-promote the track next year with Tony Adair that included launching a 6-race late model mini-series with a $10,000 champions payday and moving the Blue Gray 100 to October and putting it on the Hunt the Front Super Dirt Series schedule. But in recent weeks, there have been some cryptic social media posts from the track account, and then back on Tuesday, it was announced that Adair would be stepping away from the track as promoter after 8 years. The current financial climate of racing and the uncertainty of lease agreements were cited as Adair's reasons. The departure of Adair seems to also have put the Hunt the Front deal in jeopardy, as a post yesterday revealed that they will not be co-promoting the track and partnering on the lease after all. They will, though, continue to work with track owner Lenny Buff on their, quote, 6 scheduled races next season. The schedule at Cherokee doesn't typically start until February, so we'll see what they're able to put together between now and then. I haven't seen that a 2025 schedule was released anywhere for the track. Cherokee has had a robust weekly program while also hosting regional series like USCS Sprint Cars, Ray Cook Southern Nationals, and the Ultimate Late Models. And along similar lines, last week came word that Joe and Jill Spiker are getting out of promoting, which means the end of their tenure at Bloomington, Lincoln Park, and Terre Haute. Bloomington has already got plans in place for their future operating group, while Lincoln Park owner Dave Allison says they will make an announcement on the track's future promoter in January. We'll see what happens with Terre Haute, as that track will be headed, I believe, for their 4th promoter in as many years. Before we shut it down today, I just wanted to give a quick update about holiday plans for this show. After today, we're going to have a normal daily show on Sunday, so right on schedule there. And then next week, it's going to be a special episode run. I haven't done any interviews in a while, so for your Christmas week, I've got a number of different guests lined up for the show. That includes folks on both the sprint car and late model side. So all week, we'll have fresh content for you. Everything's going to be posted in the usual places, YouTube, Facebook, and the podcast feed. My plan right now is to return to regularly scheduled daily shows starting Monday, December 30th. So don't go anywhere during Christmas week. We're going to keep rolling along here with new dirt racing content. All right, that's the daily show for this week. Hope you guys have a great Thursday out there. We'll see you right back here on Sunday.